Alrighty, folks, welcome to Sergeant Slide's YouTube channel, and today we're outside Stu's garage, and we're going to be looking at the Legend car a little bit. So where we left off, I think I told you guys that I was getting ready to take the car to its first track day. So that did happen, but unfortunately, video didn't go really as planned. So before I show you what I do have, I'll just tell you what basically happened with that. I showed up to the track just a little bit late. I went directly into the driver's meeting, and then from the driver's meeting we went directly to the track. So everybody wants to make noise and interrupt this video. Anyways, yeah, directly from the driver's meeting, the grid started to line up. Everything of mine was still in the trailer. So I had to get my gear on. I actually had a random guy help me pull the car off the trailer as the cars were pulling onto the track, and I just went straight onto the track cold. I didn't even have time to grab my GoPro or anything. So luckily, the footage that I do have was captured by my mom on her cell phone. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that today. But I think in order to, give you guys something that's actually worth watching, I'll show you guys around the car a little bit more. And I grabbed a little bit more footage of me driving in the car just so you can kind of see what that's like, and I'll tell you about what that's actually like. All right, so I'll show you a couple of details that I didn't really get into on the last video about the car, and just kind of how this thing is made and what's under the hood. So underneath the back end, you've got your battery, your fuel cell. You can have access to your suspension there. The coil over is the shocks. But as you can see, there's that Toyota rear end. The differential is pushed all the way over to the passenger side or the right side, because what they do is they basically chop off one side of the axle tube, and you got one really short axle on this side, and then I guess that's a standard length axle on that side. Stockish sort of Toyota parts anyways, but it's a solid axle, as you can see. And then you can see over here the drive shaft and the shift linkage goes right down the side. So you got your transmission tunnel down the side, so the driver sits a little bit off center. And then you've got your motorcycle engine up here, and you've got this kind of adapter here where the sprocket would normally go if it was a motorcycle, and you can see the U-joint there for the drive shaft. So that's kind of a brief rundown how one of these things is put together. And then I didn't really talk about the new livery last time, but as you can see, I went with sort of the style of the Falcon race cars. That's just one of my favorite looking teams, and just overall what they do. Also, my favorite driver, Matt Field, used to drive a Falcon car. I didn't want to copy the Falcon colors exactly. I kind of wanted to keep it my own thing just a little bit. Yeah, so I went with the Falcon style. I've also got the gold on there because my other favorite driver, Chelsea Denofa, who just recently retired, always had gold on his car, and I just love the way the gold looks. So I was able to make it all come together. And then of course the Sergeant Slides racing flags, we got that on there. So there's my livery. Overall, so you can see the way the seat is mounted, how close you are to the ground. You're literally like 2 inches off the ground in here, and you don't have a lot to see out of up front because you're so low down in the car. The dash is up pretty high, but actually once you get moving, you don't actually need to see a whole lot. Let's see, so as far as the track day goes, I signed up for what I thought was like an amateur track day over at Dominion Raceway, where you can pretty much run what you brung. It's meant for people with street cars to get a kind of a feel for your car, but you can really bring anything out there for those track days. It was a paced track day, so all the cars kind of line up and go around the track. There's no passing. You don't really get to drive 100%. Of course, you don't want to just open up your track to just anybody and let them drive as fast as they can around the track, because bad things will happen. So, I'm not super disappointed that that's the kind of track day that I ended up going to. However, that being said, I was able to get the car up to speed. I was able to max this car out, and I was able to take some of the turns fairly aggressively and just kind of get a good feel for the car. So it wasn't a complete waste. I did have a lot of fun out there, and I got to kind of see what the car could do. Shout out to the driving instructor who hosted the track day. I don't know what his name was, but if you know Dominion, he's a pretty well-known guy out there. I think they call him Santa Claus or something like that. But he picked me out, and he let me ride behind his Miata and showed me the racing line. So that was kind of cool to kind of get to go at a little bit faster pace behind his car. I will say that one of these legend cars will absolutely destroy a Miata or spec Miata. The performance of one of these things is actually a little bit more along the lines of like a C5 Corvette. Ironically, the car that I got rid of in order to get this car. So yeah, performance wise, they're similar to like a C5 Corvette. And like I said in the last video, this car makes about 150 horsepower. The newer ones with the 3-cylinder engine make about 190 horsepower. And this clip that I'm about to show you, I was actually able to put a little bit of a space between me and the car ahead of me and make a top speed run after working myself up to it.
Coming out. See him? Yep.
And I will say I topped this car out at about 104 miles an hour due to the gearing of this car, so it's got really hard acceleration. I will also say that I wouldn't want to take this car any faster than 104 miles an hour, so I won't be changing the gearing in it to go any faster. It's terrifying. Smooth, functional. It actually felt safe and stable, but it's scary sitting that close to the ground and going that fast. And honestly, it took every bit of my nerve to hold my foot on the gas pedal to get this car up to speed. I chickened out several times before I was able to get this car up to speed. And lastly in the video, since you guys didn't get any in-car footage of me at the racetrack, I decided that I would go to a nice little closed course and just kind of show you what it looks like inside the car while you're driving and rolling through the gears. Alright, so that's what it looks like behind the wheel of one of these things. These cars are super rowdy. I mean, they're, you know, I thought that this would be, you know, if I didn't race it, it'd be kind of fun to cruise around the neighborhood in. And honestly, it's not fun for that. It's not like a little fun go-kart. This is a real deal white knuckle race car. It wants to go fast all the time, and it is fast. And it's brutal and it's raw. And these cars make a ton of grip. I was surprised at how much grip that this thing makes. Based on, you know, my previous drives, just kind of driving it around the neighborhood on the street. And yeah, it's just really a different animal on the track. Compared to a go-kart, I couldn't really compare it too much to a go-kart because you're enclosed. In a go-kart, you don't really have that enclosed feeling. And these things are super loud. You have to wear earplugs. And for my track day, I didn't have the right earplugs in, so my hearing was kind of jacked up for the rest of the day after that. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know what else to compare this thing to because I don't have a whole lot of racing experience, but I will say that it's definitely different than what I thought it would be. This car's way nastier than I thought it would be. It's way twitchier than I thought it would be. Yeah, it's pretty rowdy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna go straight, but it will go straight when you get it up to speed. So that's pretty much my brief review on the Legend car, and keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be able to take this car down to Charlotte and race against NASCAR drivers with it. Even though I'm going to get destroyed, it's still going to be a cool experience. But we'll see. I'm hoping to have a lot more track days with this car. I'm in it, I'm hooked, and you know, I just want to drive it more. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.